What's up, Sergeant Cup? So that's another year smashed, and it's time to do that thing again where we take stock and show off our favourite bots we got. Am I the only one still clinging to the old TF something of 20-something hashtag that somebody dreamt up a few years ago when 13 was still a reasonable number? But how do you wrap a year like 2017? Because it's been such a mega one. Titan's Return's been amazing, TF Nation was massive, I've had tons of boxes and whatnot, so I actually kind of had a hard time getting it down to 17. So I've set myself a couple of rules. No knockoffs, no GoBots this time. Third party's okay, but no Sky Warps. Let's get some variety on the go, yeah? Okay, lots to do, let's keep it tight. At 17, it's Unite Warriors War Breakdown. I was actually really lucky to get hold of this thing, because I was looking at the Grand Galvatron set, and it looked okay, but kind of wasn't up for another box set. But then a mate was selling him on his own. I'm like, dude, how come you just sell him Breakdown? And he goes, no, I don't really like him. I'm like, oh, okay, so PayPal? But he is a lovely, lovely thing. I'm very fond of this mold, actually. Like, Off-Road himself is decent, Trailbreaker and Ironhide are all quite good fun, and to have a blue Decepticon version based off of a Prime character, a Generations toy of a Prime character, let's do some more of that, yeah? But he does present a problem where it's like I've already got a Breakdown in the Stunticon set, so I've decided to call him Crowdkill. At 16 is the absolute lump of ridiculous joy that is Cybertron Megatron. This thing is so absurd. I just love it, man. It's so heavy and chunky, and the alt modes are just so daft, and the colours are just pure neon glee. I do always love me a Megatron toy, and I've got a few weird ones to catch up on review-wise. I know I still haven't done RID Megatron. I got him in 2013, I think. Still haven't done it. I'm going to try and catch up on a few next year, and this one is definitely on the list. He's got to be like the most pure expression of silly toy fun, and yet somehow still completely badass. I don't understand it. How does this thing rule so much? Masterpiece Dirge. I can't believe I'm saying those two words in a row. I got this in the Kapow Black Friday sale. It was 100 quid down from about 160 or something, so just really delighted to have got hold of this thing. This is a toy I kind of never thought would happen, because, you know, forgive me, but the Coneheads aren't that cool, really, so I never really thought that they'd retool the existing Masterpiece Starscream mold to this extent. It is a good time to be a collector, isn't it? We forget, don't we? We lose sight of it. Like, this has a similar effect on me that Masterpiece Black Convoy did. It just makes me so happy to be a toy person. Plus, like, blue Decepticon background characters are pretty much my aesthetic. What a year it's been that he's number 15. Get in my life. Toy World Grind Rod. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Toy World. Honestly, their Masterpiece grade stuff just winds me up. Coolsville, dreadful. Avila Star, double dreadful. But when they do Generations, turns out alright. This is a lovely thing. Rollbar was my second favourite Throttlebot as a kid. I had Goldbug and Rollbar, so I'm not bothered about getting the rest of them and doing the combiner thing. This'll do fine. But he's a lovely, rough and tumble little rascal with a bit of light piping on the go and the most adorable car mode you've ever seen in your life. He's good and I like him, and that's enough. He's relevant to my interests. Iron Bison. So I definitely wanted to represent the Leo Kaiser set in here, because again, I got him half price at Kapow, and it is a really fun set, but I think Iron Bison is my favourite of the crew, because it's a fully featured, good quality, combining classics Kill Bison, as if this exists. So badass. Golden tank man with horns, plus one night I accidentally turned him into Nugget from the Rock Lords. If I could tell 2008 me that this exists, he would not believe it. Wait, I still am that guy. Hooray! Number 12 is RID Bisque. This is such a weird idea for a toy. It's a friggin' robot lobster with Pac-Man hands, but he just completely owns it and he pulls it off spectacularly. Bisque is something else. How could you not love that face? So cheers again to Will for sending this over. I love him and I love you. Nitro's use. So this is still the only like actual toy that I got from the last night. I got one of those turbo changes of Grimlock for Christmas, but you know, he's not like on this level. Big ugly robot, beautiful sleek jet mode, perfect transformation. He's just the full package, man. At 10, it's Titan's Return 6-shot. This guy actually made me really happy when he came through, because you may remember a few years ago, when I still had hair and lived at my mum's, I did actually get the G1 6-shot from a mate in Canada, and I was delighted. But in the intervening few years, I had a couple of rough patches. Life comes at you sometimes. Sometimes you need several £100 immediately, and I was gutted, but I had to sell my G1 6-shot. I was, ugh. But then when this guy arrived, because he is so similar, I kind of had a little moment. It was like seeing an old mate. And I will admit that I did briefly sing quite a lot of The Boys Are Back in Town. I don't know how much there is I could really say about it in a full review, because it is just the same thing, but with a headmaster and knees. But rather than what it actually is as a toy, it's quite good, but but it's not majorly special, but it did make me feel something. So yes, 6-shot, Zoohauser. Okay, that's roughly half of them. So what we'll do is we'll do some music for a minute, and I'll be back with the top 9, yeah? At 9, Titan's Return, Misfire. God, I love this thing so much, man. He's like the perfect deluxe Decepticon. Like, he's a weird little space jet, man, and he's bright pink, but still somehow completely badass. And the head's perfect, and the space jet mode, just forget about it. And I gotta say, I love how much the repaint game has come on recently. Because, like, this is the trigger-happy mold, but just barely. Like, he's got the same legs and the arms work the same way, but the cockpit's totally different, the wings are new, the body's all new. I just love that there are almost no straight repaints anymore. It's all based around, like, shared engineering. And you could say, oh, that's lazy, but I would argue that it's efficient. Because how else are we gonna get Generations figures of characters like Misfire and Slugslinger? Misfire? That's my drag name. Unite Warriors, Mega Empress. So the Megatronia video was basically the bane of my life this year. It was fun to make it, but it took forever. But you know what? It was worth it. I feel like the video came out alright, and it meant I got to spend a lot of time with Mega Empress. Because like with a lot of the combiners, I just kind of combined them and just pop them over there. Didn't really get to know them. Like Hotspot, barely. I never thought that my favourite thing out of the whole phenomenon would be the silly girl repaint team. She works as a female Megatron if you want her to, but if not, she can just be a standard stocky Decepticon general with a huge scythe. Megatronia is a delight, and Mega Empress is its beating heart. So I have plenty of time for Mega Empress. Number 9. 8. Number 7. Oh, he's so huge. God damn it. Fortress Maximus. So, Fort Max kind of had to be here almost by default, really, because Titan's Return has been such a joy, and he's the poster child. I'm not a fan of base formers, really. They always just look like a bloke starfished out on his bed. But the robot mode is just magnificent. I had a really good time putting all the stickers on. How could he not be on this list? He's the kind of thing that makes me think I should probably get a bigger work surface. How am I going to review this? I don't know. So thanks once again to Kevin for sending this over from America. You're a top man, and so is he. My 6th favourite robot, then roughly, this is all very vague, I don't know. It's Masterpiece Inferno. Now this has been a very divisive boy, hasn't he? Because a lot of folks aren't into this smoother aesthetic, closer to the cartoon than it is to the toy. But I'm into it, I like it. It's not perfect, but it is extraordinarily good. The transformation is mind-blowing. It's just a good, fun guy. What's the problem? Look, I've just been sitting here tinkering with it for 1 minute. I'm having such a good time. I totally get why people don't like it, but I don't agree. At 5, G1 Ultra Magnus. I'm really glad to have one of these again, because my brother had him when we were kids, so I have a lot of good memories tied up in his thin-ass panels and clicky folds. And to get one of these complete for 25 quid for charity, it's just like the perfect ending. So I'm very happy to have G1 Ultra Magnus back in my life. Thank you, Thew. At 4, Grassor. Do I really need to go into detail? This thing is such a beast. Because obviously the Dinobots are great, but I never had them as a kid, so this is kind of my way of living out that dream with the most absurdly overblown versions of those characters you've ever seen. As luck would have it, I also have his long-necked big brother, Gravita, all set for review very shortly. But these Geiger Power things are an absolute scream, and I'm fully on board for an entire set, I reckon. Kicking off the top 3 then, it's Legends Target Master Cup. Now, this was a surprise. Much like Blur was last year, I never thought I'd be really into a Cup toy, because like, I'm not the biggest Cup fan, and I actually really despise the G1 toy. I think it's a piece of crap. But this is something else, man. Like, the way the legs work is just genius, and like the whole chest cavity thing is such a hoot, and with like the old man head sculpt and a Target Master to boot, I just never thought a Cup toy would be such a treat. It's Titan's Return, Blitzwing, for the same bunch of reasons. Oh, I like this one. It's nice to have a good quality classics version of him. But it is, you know, he's got the stickers and that with the arrows, and the jet mode's perfect, and the tank mode's hilarious, and he made such a good Megatron. Bravo! I know it's obvious, but it's Blitzwing. He's a lifelong fave, and I just can't argue with the way this thing makes me feel. And my number one favourite thing that I got this year that's a robot is Fancy Cell Transportation Captain. I can't tell you how happy this thing makes me. He's like not so much a masterpiece version than he is like an echo through time. Like, he isn't perfect, and Astro Train never was he? Like, the robot mode's just a big bloated idiot, and the train mode and the shuttle are both like equally silly, like they have all the same problems that the G1 figure had. Isn't that stupid? Isn't that weird? That I kind of prefer that it's flawed. But, you know, there he is. He's my favourite thing that I got this year, and that's all I can tell you. And that's your lot for this year, way! Thank you again for everything that you guys have done for me this year. This has been a complete trip. Things are going far better than I expected. I've said all this before, but the feeling is the same. I'm incredibly grateful for everything that's gone on this year. Thank you for sticking by me. And 2018, I'm going to absolutely shower the crap out of you with good-ass content. So what I'll do is I shall leave you to it, and I'll catch you again in the Double MXV Triple I. Peace!
Be sure to subscribe for more Thew's awesome Transformers reviews. Limited appeal, keeping it real.